So a couple of days ago, I made a video that actually did pretty well. It was a clip of me visiting an ancient city and getting memed on by the noise structure while going from place to place. The visit went overall pretty well, and a lot of online guides did a good job of providing a rough overview, but not really going into one of the key details of looting ancient cities, so I figured I'd make a short-ish form version of everything you need to know about visiting an ancient city. The first order of business is finding it, which is mostly kinda lame. The only notes I found online were to visit mountain-like biomes, which either generates one at or very near to that biome. Dig down to bedrock and hope you see one. An easier solution would be to use commands to find the nearest one or go to your seed viewer. There are 3 main sections of each ancient city. 2 are mostly useless and 1 is important. The middle area of the city that contains the giant portal frame and the room inside, along with the main walkways throughout the city, are what doesn't matter. What does are the multiple independent structures that spawn on the edges of those walkways, which contain the chests you need to get. The main obstacle while you're down there is your own patience. You can only walk normally on wool blocks or carpet. Any other block, you need to be crouching, and I don't think I need to explain why. Your main adversary, funny enough, isn't the Shrieker. It's actually the Sensor. It's like a game of telephone. You make noise, noise go to sensor, sensor go to nearest Shrieker, and I say nearest because you can only activate 1 Shrieker at a time. That is, of course, unless 2 Shriekers are in equal distance from the sensor. You get 4 warnings before a warden spawns, with a cooldown of 10 minutes before 1 warning is retracted. My advice? Answer the following question. Do I want to stay in the city or come back later? If you want to stay, just get as far away from the warden as you can. Just go to another section of the city. You have a small cooldown before the warden starts trying to track you. The moment you know the warden is about to spawn, you have about 15 seconds to move away, and after 60 seconds, they despawn anyways, so long as they aren't provoked in any way. Snowballs help divert the warden's attention, but always remember that snowballs too can activate sensors. The best case scenario is to just not alert the warden in the first place. Unfortunately, in order to get the loot from chests from the ancient city, you gotta open them. So here's what I have learned about that. Here's a few screenshots to illustrate how sensors work. The first image does not activate a sensor. Same with this image here. The logic also carries over horizontally, but I want you to pay very close attention to this screenshot. Does this activate the Shrieker? Yes or no? The answer is yes. Yes, it does. Now let's look at the exact same scenario, but 1 block higher. Does this activate the Shrieker? The answer is no. The best way to describe this is that the sound you make is caught by the sensor and sent out to the Shrieker at a precise spot and angle, which I believe to be the center top of the sensor to the center top of the Shrieker. Disrupt that line and you're safe. It furthermore explains why this doesn't work, but this does. The same logic applies to chests too, and every chest spot is like bomb defusal. You can either A, block off the chest so it doesn't reach the sensor, B, block off the sensor so they can't communicate to the Shrieker, or C, block off the Shriekers so they can't spawn the warden. Heck, you could also just break the sensor or Shrieker if there's only one of them near the chest. The last section of this guide would be recommended gear. I brought with me 8 stacks of wool and a few night vision potions. You could also bring ender pearls to make a speedy escape. Mobs themselves don't spawn in the city, but fighting them will activate nearby sensors even though the mob itself doesn't. After that, it's just about remembering how you got in and leaving, although nothing is really stopping you from making another exit. And that's all there is to it. There is of course a way to stop the warden from spawning altogether, but I'll be real with you, Chief, anyone who does that is a pussy.